Oh shit, I have been risen from the dead. Hello everybody, my name is LIFEofDOMOVOI, Život domovoje. Today I've decided to finally get off my ass and actually record a video. This time it's gonna be Logitech MX Vertical review. The one video that I've been hyping about ever since the Half-Life tier maker video or tier list video, but I haven't gotten to it because, you know, I'm so freaking lazy. So this is gonna be the review of this mouse plus minus 1 year later. I mean, I was supposed to release it earlier, but you know, I got lazy. I will answer one important question. Is it a meme or is it actually worth spending almost 2,000 to 3,000 Czech crowns for this thing? I will also compare it with other mice, such as this mouse and this mouse. Now, of course, stay tuned if you're a Linux user! Stay tuned if you're a Linux user! Now, let's find out if it's actually any good. So, of course, originally I was using this mouse, which was HP Pavilion model, whatever the fuck it was called. 200, 500, 600, fucking, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but this was my standard mouse. It's ambidextrous gaming mouse that doesn't have any software. Then I switched from HP mouse to this mouse because HP mouse started to actually break. I mean, I had issues with double clicking and the scroll wheel was misbehaving. Then of course I switched to this garbage, which, by the way, don't buy this mouse. This mouse sucks ass. I only used it for 2.5 months before the scroll wheel actually broke. Now I'm not sure if you can see it, but that's not how it's supposed to work. When I use this mouse, as you can see, it should stop moving every time I'm done moving my finger. I mean, that's how it's that's how it should work, not like this, where every time I do this, it keeps moving. By the way, it doesn't work, it only clicks. So what the fuck is this mouse? Well, it's a vertical mouse, duh. If you don't know what it's a vertical mouse, Lily will pause the video and then come back. It basically, to give you an oversimplification, it's basically an angled mouse. Instead of using it like this, you use it like this. It should be good for your wrist, so it doesn't hurt like a bitch. And so you wouldn't have any suicidal thoughts every time you wanna use this mouse. And yes, I'm recording with my left hand because, god damn it, I don't have a GoPro, but whatever. So it's a basic vertical mouse, office mouse or whatever it's called. You have forward and backward button, DPI button. Over here you have a left mouse button, right mouse button, and middle click or scroll wheel, whatever you wanna call it. Over here you have the switch for your mouse. Christ almighty. Here it's turned on and now it's not. You have a optical sensor right here. Unlike HP Pavilion and Trust mouse that I have, this one does have an optical sensor. Over here you have the quote-unquote easy switch, which should basically switch to different computers that you have around when you're basically logged on Logitech Options Plus, which, speaking of which, yes, this mouse does have an application and I'll get to it later. And last but not least, I'm not sure if you can see it, there, you do have a USB-C connector right here. Now, it's a wireless mouse basically, which, if you couldn't tell, and you can connect it with different options. Now you could connect it with, if I can even find it, now you could connect it with wireless dongle. You could also connect it with Bluetooth, which I don't really have much of experience since I don't connect it with Bluetooth, but you could connect it with Bluetooth. You also have another thing which also came in the package, and that is using the cable. You could actually plug it into your computer and you could actually use it as a wired mouse. Now, I'm not sure if there's any latency difference between wireless dongle, USB and Bluetooth. I'm not sure how much of a big difference it is, but I haven't really had many issues. I mean, yes, of course, you're gonna be less accurate with vertical mouse than, let's say, this mouse, which is your standard normie mouse, basically, gaming mouse. but it doesn't really make much of a difference. Because, I mean, this is supposed to be targeted for companies, so for people that work in office, so for a long period of time. But you don't have to be working at those jobs to own this mouse. I mean, even if you're a normie or even if you're a gamer, you could actually use this mouse. As far as I'm concerned, I've been gaming with this thing for almost a year and a half, and it's been a pleasure to play with this mouse. I mean, you definitely can play with this mouse. I've been gaming with this thing. I've been playing mostly single-player games. Multiplayer, I'm not sure if it's good. I don't really care about multiplayer. But you can actually game with this mouse. Now, speaking of which, now I haven't mentioned about a couple more additional things, such as it weighs over 135 grams, which I think it's much out of my three mice that I have, you know, when I talk about the HP Pavilion and Trust GXT mouse. I think this one's heaviest out of all of them. This one's lightest out of all of them. Now, this mouse is made for people with big hands. If you have small or medium hands, well, especially small hands, then I don't recommend it. I have massive hands. It's almost as similar to the size as this mouse, which, I mean, I should get rid of this junk. I mean, this one also has a pretty nice size. It's a little smaller and my pinky is a little feels a little uncomfortable. But this one's perfect. I can actually hold it properly and it feels good, man. Also, the minimum DPI of this mouse is 400 and maximum is 4000 DPI, which I thought this was gonna be a bit of a downgrade because I've been using at least approximately 5000 DPI when I was using my HP mouse. But as far as I'm concerned, if I crank it up to 4000, it's a little too sensitive for me. So I think it also does play with the sensor, which of course it has a different sensor. I mean, it's optical. Those other two mice that I have, they have laser sensor or whatever. So yeah, this one's, I believe, much more sensitive. Now, I'm not sure if it works well if you have mousepad or not, but I do use mousepad, which also should slightly increase the sensitivity. I'm not sure about this one though. Now also this mouse does have reprogrammable buttons, so if you want to reprogram forward, backward button, DPI button, maybe scroll wheel, I believe, you can actually do that. Now, since I'm on the desktop, I'm gonna fire up my application, which is Logiops Plus. Now, Logiops Plus is basically the main app you're gonna be using for this mouse if you're on Windows or Mac OS. Now, it looks kind of nice, clean, I guess. I mean, well, basically this is gonna be the app that you're gonna be using for this mouse when you plug it in for the first time. It's gonna install it and you're gonna be introduced to this. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think you really need an account, but don't quote me on this one. I don't actually remember if you need an account or not. So basically, right here, it's gonna show you how much battery do you have. Now, it says battery level is low, but I don't know exactly how low it is. You should get a notification though that basically it's dying and you need to charge it. So also does show you what it's connected with. Now, it's connected with unifying receiver, just like always I do. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't show you exactly how much percentage do you have, unlike with other applications that I'm gonna talk about later. But yeah, when you click on this mouse, you have a couple options. Now you have buttons. Let's click, for example, on change pointer speed. Now, you could reprogram this button, for example, to have task view, gestures, play/pause, keyboard shortcuts, and other garbage that, quite frankly, I don't care about. Again, I only care about basic stuff, not the other bullshit. But yeah, you only have two different pointer speeds, so you can't have, for example, 4, 3, 6 or 100 or whatever. And one more annoying thing about this thing is it doesn't show you exact number. Instead, it shows you the percentage, for example, 36, 84, so I don't know exactly how much DPI do I have. Now, judging by this, I have approximately 3000 DPI, 3000 plus, I don't know exactly how much. Over here, I don't even know if it's 1000 or if it's 800 or even 2000, I don't know. Now, it does show you exactly this little green dot, what kind of a pointer speed do you have, what you're using. Now, on Windows 10, it should show you a bit of a pop-up, something similar like this. That, hey, you reaching your DPI, or how much. It should even display a bar and basically show you how much DPI do you have every time you basically press and hold the DPI button and then move mouse from left to right. It should basically show you how much DPI do you have, how much you're changing, but you know, Windows 11 sucks dicks, and yeah, basically it doesn't show you anything. It doesn't show you some other notifications. I mean, thankfully it does show you if a battery is running low. I mean, there's even that little green light you have in that mouse every time you turn it on and off. It should also display, for example, when the battery is running low. Now, of course, you could invert the scroll wheel. Now, here's another thing which is the Logi flow. Now, this is one thing that's exclusive to this application, and it only works for 2 operating systems. Again, it works for Windows and Mac OS. Now, you can basically drag your pointer to a different desktop as long as you have an account and, well, the application is installed. Now, this should be something similar if you have some... I'm not sure how to compare it. I think you could compare it so if you have 2 monitors or 3 monitors, 4 monitors, and you basically drag it from one monitor to other, which can be kinda cool, I guess, if you're one of those people that really need it. Again, I don't give a crap, I don't care about this thing. I care about the basic things. Now, of course, you have other settings, but we don't care about those. Which also begs the question, why did I mention about a couple things? Why did I just mention Windows and macOS? Well, this is where things get really annoying. So basically it mainly supports Windows and Mac OS. It does work on Chrome OS, Gnu+linux and iPad OS apparently. I'm not sure about BSD or Haiku OS or any other operating systems, but this is one thing you need to know. It only officially is supported on Windows and Mac OS. Maybe iPad OS. Chrome OS and Linux doesn't have any support. It doesn't have Logi Plus, Logi Options Plus, or whatever it's called. So basically you are screwed if you don't have a Windows or Mac OS. Now, Linux does have 3 applications. Now you have Piper, Solaar and Logiops. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the Piper. Let's get it out of the way. Yes, it looks nice. It looks nice, clean. It looks similar to the Logi Options Plus. However, I had bad experiences with this application, and my biggest problem is the DPI button. This application claims that it supports Logitech MX Vertical. Hell, if I click on it, for example, on the devices and I search MX Vertical, it does show MX Vertical device. So you're like, great, it supports Logitech MX Vertical. So what's the problem? Well, the DPI button doesn't straight up work. Straight up, it doesn't work. So if you wanna switch from different pointer speeds, it literally doesn't work. So this application is complete irrelevant garbage. It doesn't work. So you're like, crap. If this application isn't good, what is? Well, this is where Solaar comes in. Now Solaar doesn't claim that it supports the Logitech MX Vertical. In fact, I can't see any mentioning of Logitech MX Vertical. So you're like, crap, it doesn't support Logitech MX Vertical. This application is useless. It's irrelevant. No, it's not actually. Like, at all. It actually works really well with my mouse. So Solaar is basically an application that's targeted mainly at Logitech applications. And surprisingly, when you install this app, and of course you have to unplug your mouse and then plug it again in order for it to detect, it actually works really well. This actually is one of the best application you can use for your mouse. So of course over here it looks something like this. It looks a little bit different, maybe even slightly outdated, but then again it also depends on what kind of a desktop environments do you have, how much do you customize it. But basically it should show unifying receiver, for example, if you're using the dongle, wireless dongle. Over here it should display the name of your mouse, which actually it does show. It does show as MX Vertical. It should also show you a couple of useful information, such as, it should also display how much battery percentage do you have, for example, if it's full or if it's low. It should also show you more important things, such as, you know, scroll wheel directions, the DPI level or sensitivity, if you wanna call it. If you wanna change some of those buttons, you know, reprogram it basically. Although over there you can see those locks or paddle locks or whatever. I believe there's 3 options. You have locked, unlocked, then you have other level, but you shouldn't worry about that basically. But basically, even if it looks a little bit complicated, trust me, it's not. It's actually really simple. Basically, if you want to change the settings, you have to basically click on the padlock, and it should basically unlock the setting basically, and you should be able to configure it, which is really nice, which allows you to actually change the settings, such as the DPI settings and other stuff if you want to reprogram the buttons. Another very useful thing about Solaar is it displays the battery. So it does display a battery on the tray as a tray icon, which is very, very useful. Which is something, by the way, Logi Options Plus doesn't have, which is insanely weird, considering Solaar has it and it's very useful. Now on Linux, technically, if you go to settings and you basically find the device that you have connected, it technically also displays how much battery do you have, which is something even Windows doesn't have, which is just, well, I mean, not so shocking after all. Windows does kinda suck ass, so hey, we shouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Solaar is an amazing application. I love this application. I've been using it on a couple different test distributions, quote-unquote, such as Gnu+linux, EndeavourOS, PopOS, possibly Linux Mint, and God knows what else. It's not, now the only small weird issue that I've noticed, now I'm not sure if this is with my mouse, if it's the issue of the mouse or if it's the issue of the Solaar app, but basically one weird thing I've noticed is if you press and hold the DPI button and you wanna move it to the left or to the right side, if you wanna change the speed, sometimes it just, instead of that, it just basically switches the pointer speed from 1 to 2 or so forth. But it's not that much of a big issue. I mean, you can do it literally on the setting. For example, you click on the DPI setting and then you change it from 3000 to 3100 to 3200, so on and so forth. And legitimately, Solaar has been very good app. Now, one small nitpick is basically if you want it to be opened every time you boot up your operating system, you have to basically open it manually, which kinda sucks, because if you don't open it, basically it's not gonna be running in the background and you basically are gonna have the default slow as a mule speed. Now one solution is you basically go to settings, you basically choose applications on startup or open applications on boot up or whatever. You basically find Solaar, you basically select it and it should automatically open every time you start up an application. So every time you boot up your operating system, it should open up window, for example, just like that, and you should be good to go. Now you can just close the window and it's gonna be running in the background. A little annoying thing, but hey, it's better than nothing. Now, last thing I wanted to mention is something called Logiops. This is the third option, which is another driver for the Logitech devices. I don't even know what this application does. I don't even know if it works with Logitech MX Vertical, but this may be another possible app. Now, like I said, I don't have any experiences. If you really wanna test it, you can go ahead and do it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, you only have 3 options: Logiops, Piper, and Solaar. Now, if you want my recommendation goes to Solaar. I think Solaar is freaking amazing application for this mouse, and actually it's one of the best ones you can get currently. Now, Piper, like I said, I don't know Piper if it fixed the issue or if it still sucks ass, but I don't recommend Piper. I seriously recommend Solaar. Hell, it even works when you're playing video games. You can even switch the pointer speed in video games, which is amazing. Now, funnily enough, Logitech MX Vertical used to have an issue when I, for example, played GTA 5, for example. I couldn't switch to DPI. I couldn't change it, basically, but they have patched it so it works flawlessly. Yeah, if you're a Linux user, just use Solaar, man. Come on. It's literally the best thing you can use. I have been sucking this device's dick for a long time, but surely there must be some negative things. Well, there are negative things. Mainly, I mean, of course, the obvious thing was it's only supported officially on Windows and macOS. It doesn't have an official app on Linux. So for example, if you wanna use Logitech Flow, it literally just forget about it. That shouldn't be the issue if you wanna just the basic things such as, you know, forward, backward button, DPI button, scroll wheel, etc, etc. Just the basic important stuff, not this exclusive Flow bullcrap. But the biggest issue is, of course, the price. The price for this mouse is insane. So back then when I ordered it last year, I have spent over 2,290 Czech crowns, which is approximately 99.75 US dollars and 93.25 euros, which is insane. It has to be one of the most expensive mouse that I've ever bought in my lifetime. The other previous mice that I bought, they were much cheaper. They costed a couple hundred Czech crowns. The Trust GXT 144 Rex costed around 1,070 Czech crowns, which should, by the way, cost 1 Czech crown or even 0 Czech crowns because that mouse freaking sucks. But that's not all. This mouse can go up to 3,299 Czech crowns, which is fucking insane. And it's very expensive. Now this can approximately cost $143 and it can cost approximately 134 euros. I mean, it's crazy expensive. And you're like, God damn it, I can't afford it. I don't want to use this garbage. It's too expensive. It may be even too big for my hands. I can't replace the battery, which, by the way, you cannot replace the battery. It's already built into the mouse. And you want an alternative, basically. Well, you don't have much of a choice. I mean, you technically have from Logitech this mouse, which is Logitech Lift. But really, this mouse is, I'll be honest with you guys, it's trash. It's trash. Like, why would you use this mouse? It's complete trash. Now, the DPI should be the same thing. I mean, the minimum DPI is 400, maximum is 4000. It's much lighter. Yeah, it's supported on Windows and macOS by the Logi Options Plus. Now, you can have one AA battery. No, you cannot even use it with cable. Yes, you can use it with wireless dongle or you can use it with Bluetooth. But honestly, this thing kinda sucks ass, to be honest. Like, why would you do it? Why would you buy this mouse? It's also even smaller, so I mean, the only good thing about this is it's smaller or medium-sized for those people that don't have large hands. But really, this mouse just sucks, to be honest. Why would I buy it? Which is a shame because this is the only really good mouse that at least works out of the box. I mean, what else to say about this mouse? I mean, the materials are nice. It has nice plastic. There is some kind of rubber or even silicone or whatever it's using that makes it even more comfortable. But other than that, really, the price is just insane. Which is the only thing that sucks about this mouse. But I mean, since it's still reliable, I'm still gonna be using this mouse, of course. And if it breaks, I'm gonna buy another one, possibly, because on the market you don't have much of a choice. All of the vertical mice suck. And another thing, well, the last thing is, if you're lefty, forget about this mouse. This mouse is only for right-handed people. Now, Logitech Lift does have a left-handed variant, but MX Vertical does not have, which is a shame, really. It doesn't even have many color schemes, which, I mean, who gives a crap? So, a bit of a recap. This mouse is really good. It's officially supported on Windows and Mac OS, but it also works on Linux unofficially with Solaar. It's good for gaming. It's very comfortable. It did, I mean, after all, it did reduce my wrist pain, and it's really nice to use it. And in fact, after I switched to vertical mice platform, I just never went back to normal generic normie mouse. I really enjoy using vertical mice because it's that good, especially the Logitech MX Vertical. It's freaking amazing, but it's also plagued with really high price. I mean, it's, god damn it, it's insane. But there's one of the most important questions about this mouse, and that is it a meme or is it actually worth it? Now, my answer is simple. Yes, it's worth it. I love this mouse. I really do. I don't know how to make it even more obvious, but I love it. I think it's a very good mouse. It's just the price is so high, and I really think it should cost less. I mean, they really should stick closer to 2000 Czech crowns. Now, of course, you could get it cheaper. I mean, this is just what Logitech website, but you could look in other websites such as alza.cz, datart.cz, czc.cz. I know it sounds retarded in English, but it sounds much normal in Czech language. Or any other alternatives. I mean, it's so much cheaper in other websites than Logitech website. I mean, if you buy it from Logitech website, you're a moron, basically. Plus, you may be paying even more money for, you know, just delivery, so it's not worth it. Get it from different websites. But really, realistically, this mouse is freaking amazing. I can switch to different mouse because I'm just gonna miss the fact that it's not gonna be vertical, that it's gonna have lots of imperfections. For me, it's a really great mouse. Now, since I finally released the video, I'm gonna make something else. I'm gonna make a different video finally. What's it gonna be? I don't know. The last time I uploaded the video, which was my anti-scope ergonomic chair, I have 127 views, which is very nice. So I hope that I'm gonna have the same amount of views, if not even more. Boy.